Hello there, good fellas. How are you doing today? Thanks for asking. I'm doing great as well. This came up on my mind a few years back when I was watching a lot of self-improvement slop, and honestly, this is one of the things that I kind of appreciated that I picked up from watching that type of content. If you have a young sibling, a younger brother, especially, you should feel responsibility to help him, to guide him, and maybe to even provide for him. But now let's start with the basics. Let's not go too far too fast, right? If you are just entering your 20s, maybe you're about to enter your 20s, maybe you're in your early 20s, and your brother is like 15, 16, maybe even 20, that 2 years gap is still a gap. Maybe he's even younger, maybe he's 13, who knows. If you have that situation and you have the privilege to be the older sibling of the two or of the three, or how many you have, you freak. But if you're in that kind of situation, you should take responsibility for his development as a person, because he's gonna look up to you, believe me. Even though he will kind of secretly do it, he will not really show it to you much, because he's probably gonna take pride in his own ways and all of that. But under all of that act, he'll be looking up to you about a lot of stuff. So you should help him. One of the things that I would suggest for you to do with your brother is to buy some random gifts for him. In the areas where he's interested in. So maybe if he's in football, go buy him a football, If he likes basketball, go buy him a basketball. If he likes video games, he might play some COD, or you say COD, I don't know, Call of Duty, or if you play some CS, buy him some skins maybe, just let him, show him that you're there for him. I mean, that you're there for him, but he's young, he's less experienced, and he doesn't know that. So help him, be kind of the leader. It sounds a little corny, but try to be like the leader in these kinds of situations, where you're not kind of dictating what he needs to do. You're just kind of giving him advice through presence, through play, through experiences, and so on. So kind of support his hobby, even though, don't buy drugs to him if he's taking drugs, but if he plays CS, buy him some skins that fit your budget. I already gave you the examples. Another thing I would say is try to see if he struggles with something and try to give him the cure for his struggles, but not in a direct way. If he looks kind of lonely, if he struggles with socializing, go out with him, go drink a coffee, or go shopping, I don't know, go fuck some hoes, I don't know. You can decide that on yourself, by yourself. So things like that. I'm gonna give you my situation. So when I have a younger brother, right? When I was just turning 20, 19, something like that, I saw that my brother was kind of getting fat, honestly. And I wasn't concerned yet, but I was like, okay, this guy's kind of getting out of control right now. He's kind of fat. He's like seriously fat. He's playing too much Fortnite. He's raging too much. He's insulting other people online too much. So we need to help him, you know? I need to help him. So what I did is I didn't just plug the computer off. I didn't do that because that would not fix anything. That would just make things worse. But what I did was I brought him to the gym with me. I was going to the gym pretty actively at that period, really actively actually. And I was thinking like, he would probably not like it at first, and he might never like it, who knows, but it will at least show him a way how to lose fat, even though he's not really conscious of the whole concept of losing fat and looking athletic and feeling fit in his after like at 15 or 14, or even 16. You're not really that aware of it yet, but it's gonna struck like when you turn 17 and when you start looking around your classroom, and when your classmates, your female classmates, start kind of getting some shapes on their body, you will be like, "Ooh, that looks nice." But if you're fat, you don't really have a chance, really. You'll be kind of the loser in your class. And I didn't want my brother to be that, because his character doesn't really seem like he's a loser in his class. But your looks matter a lot throughout your whole life, but especially when you're young, and especially when you're immature. But let's not get why did I get into philosophy and into psychology? What the fuck? My idea is that I brought him to the gym, right? I brought him a few times. He started liking it at first, but of course after a few weeks he's like, I don't want to come. I want to play Fortnite with my buddies. And I left him. I was like, okay, you can stay home. And after a few months, he started asking me, when are you going to go to the gym? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go, I don't know, Monday. And then we went together again a few times. And then he eventually started going alone without me asking him or forcing him, even though I never forced him to go to the gym. And that is good, because he started going to the gym on his own. And now he's actively going to the gym right now. And he's bigger than me. So I might have made a mistake. If we get in an argument, he might just be stronger than me. I don't know if that's a good thing. I'll lose a lot of aura, but I don't know. I've created the monster, But try helping him. Try helping your younger sibling, right? By not directly addressing the problem to him, because he's too young to understand probably, and he might be even conscious of the problem, but he's insecure about it, so he doesn't really want to talk about it. So you might just make it worse. So don't just say, you're fucking fat, you idiot. I mean, he's your brother, you kind of can't say that to him. But if he's like 28, then sure, but he's not 28. He's in school still, and he's just starting to jerk off, so his hormones are going all crazy. So don't do that. But just say to him, yeah, yo buddy, let's go to the gym, or let's go on a walk, let's cook something healthy, but you don't have to say that you're cooking something healthy. You just cook something healthy. You go on a walk, but you don't say, let's burn off some calories, you fat ass. No, you just say, let's go on a walk, and you walk. So you don't directly address the problem. You're kind of going around it, but you're helping your brother out. So yeah, this went for too long, this whole explanation. But what I wanted to say is, try to become a role model for your younger siblings, especially if you have a younger brother and you're a guy yourself, because we guys, we're kind of fucked up, and things can go really wrong really fast when you're young if you don't take care of yourself, let's say. But when you're just entering your puberty, it's hard to really keep up with everything, because you're just not really aware of a lot of stuff that is happening. So take care of your brother. Another thing that is more on a socializing, like psychological level, it's more about bonding, you know. When your brother is younger, he's gonna feel a certain amount of shame towards some subjects, and you kind of need to soften him up. Of course, this depends on him. He might be, a crazy young dude. He might talk to you about what he watches on the hub, so you won't really need to dive deep into any subjects because he's gonna be already aware of many stuff. But the chances are he's not really open for all the conversations. And you should be the guy that talks about all these things first. You know, ask him about the girls at school. Ask him about, I don't know, is somebody in your class drinking? Did you attend a party? Did you go out? Did you drink? Like, you don't have to be that direct, of course, but you'll just feel the conversation and you'll ease into it. But ask him about all these stuff because he is getting aware of it pretty rapidly, and he has a lot of questions on his mind, but he doesn't have many answers. And you, as an older guy, should hopefully have something figured out in your life, at least when it comes to the generic stuff, and also when it comes to like just girls in general and hanging out and socializing and just events in your area that are important for a young person. So you should give a focus on that as well. You should also, when it comes to bonding, right, we're not talking about bonding, try to oppose him sometimes, try to challenge him. Maybe you challenge him to, on like with some arguments about a certain topic, but that most of the times won't work if he's like pretty young and he's just stupid. So you might challenge him like who can lift more at the gym or who can run faster or whatever. Just some random things that help a man to build a better bond with another man. In this case, it's your brother, so it's pretty important. Like down the line, you'll become older, and it's gonna be very important to have a close sibling, especially in this period that we live in right now. Like, everybody is just so individualistic. It's all kind of going to shit when it comes to a lot of stuff that are happening on a day-to-day basis, especially with like the whole socializing aspect. Young people are lonely, young people are miserable, they're lost. And if you're in your 20s, you might be suffering from those issues yourself, but don't let that stop you from giving your brother a better chance in this world, and don't let that stop you from exposing your brother to as many things as possible, as young as possible, so that he can understand things earlier and he can get into a lot of stuff earlier, so later on he wouldn't have to struggle or go through same shit as you did. Because remember, as an older brother who didn't have an older sibling, you are kind of the first child, and you are the first kid to go in school, and you're the first kid in the family to kind of go through a lot of stuff that you have to go through at that age, and all your younger siblings, are gonna go through those same periods themselves a little later. But make sure at least that their road is not as bumpy as yours. Maybe you had a smooth upbringing, maybe you went to school and everything was fine. Maybe you were a popular kid and things just worked out for you. So help him and don't let him struggle, right? So I would say these are some things that you should consider doing with your brother when he's young to help him shape his mind and his body, of course, because it's pretty important, you know. When I was just starting to work, when I started working out, I was like, I just turned 17, and honestly, nobody really taught me, but I felt it myself that I was pretty weak. So I was like, okay, I have to start working out, you know, because I wasn't able to do shit. I wasn't able to lift shit. So I just felt insecure. But don't let your brother, don't let your sibling go through that same thing. If he is already 16, maybe, I don't know, you know, bring him with you to the gym, just show him how some exercises work. It's gonna help him, you know. And then if he sometimes in the future feels insecure about his body, he can just go back to that same place you brought him some years back. He can go there, lift some weights, become somewhat bigger, and then he'll feel more secure, you know. It helps. If you have a younger sister, brother, I don't know what to tell you, because I don't have a sister, older or younger. I don't know how it feels to have a sister, honestly, and it's kind of terrifying. Like, having a sister as a concept, it's pretty terrifying. I don't know why. It feels like it's a lot harder to manage as a sibling, even as a parent, right? But it's kind of complicated. So I don't know about that because I don't have one. You should figure it out. You should watch some other video that is helping or just talking about having a older, sorry, younger sister. But just make sure she doesn't open an OnlyFans in 2 years or something. Like, make sure that is not the case. That's kind of devastating, you know. Make sure, please, that she doesn't open an OnlyFans. Then whatever else she does, she'll be fine. I think. I hope. So yeah, guys. I think I've said it all. And now I will leave you here, and I will see you in the next one.